BMAX Audio Adventure, another episode of BJJ365. This one is going to be really special. My friend and one of the greatest mentors of my life, Lonnie Jones, is here. Lonnie is, actually, I'll just let you introduce yourself a little bit. Keep it short now. We only got 15 minutes to work with. Don't be killing my people.
All right. I'm a licensed professional counselor with a long history as a minister. And as a minister, you watch kids play ball, and you see them go through the angst of winning and losing, and you learn to do some sports psychology. Although I'm not a sports psychologist, I have a degree in psychology, and I understand sports. My wife is a coach. My daughter was a very competitive volleyball athlete, and so it kind of blended well with the ministry thing, and then it turned into what I do for a living.
Awesome. And so your wife has a master's in kinesiology.
Yes.
Your daughter played D1 volleyball. She wasn't just a competitive athlete; she was a scholarshiped athlete at the Division I level.
Right. She's 4'10" and played volleyball
in college. That's incredible.
Yeah.
4'10", and Lonnie, you're 4'11".
I'm 5'4".
I'm sorry.
If I need to be taller, I'll stand on the bodies. Thank you.
And you've been around martial arts and combat oriented because you work with the SWAT team. So tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, I'm a chaplain, one of the public safety chaplains in Huntsville. And 26 years ago, I got assigned to the SWAT team and got embedded with their group. And so I get to train with them. I get to go on calls with them. I'm an adjunct at the academy. Next week is SWAT week at the academy. And the young cadets are going to learn to handle felony vehicle stops. I'm a felon, and so they'll have to handcuff me. My record is it takes 6 to handcuff me.
Whoa, that's awesome.
And so we just learn to do a lot of things with what the police officers deal with. We do stress inoculation with the cadets, and then I'm sort of embedded with the team. I'm their rappel master. I've got a background in climbing and rappelling, and so when we get a new SWAT guy that needs to learn how to slide down a rope, I get to teach that. But I'm not a shooter or an operator. I am a chaplain.
A chaplain that knows how to operate that. Maybe not officially. Maybe not
go that far.
And so for those of you that have been listening to my podcast or been around my content for a long time, you've definitely heard me bring up Lonnie before. Lonnie is probably the greatest mentor that I have, and he's actually the guy, I say the greatest mentor, not as a martial artist, but as a human. Like, I look up to you tremendously. I'm incredibly honored to have you come on and share some of your knowledge with the people who are listening to me. So if you're listening to me, first of all, why? But secondly, if you are and you're still here, then you're going to really love and you're going to really connect with Lonnie. This is the dude that taught me my first submission hold when I was maybe 15 or 16 years old. And now he's a regular student here, and he's a blessing to have around, man. So I'm super glad you're here, Lonnie. It's
a lot of fun to be here. I think about that journey that, you're the circle is complete, as Lord Vader would say. But my jiu-jitsu was always about competency rather than mastery. And at some point, you do what you do at your level. Mm-hmm. One of Lonnie Beth's, that's my daughter's volleyball coach, he says, I want you to play volleyball at your level. If you enjoy volleyball and you like to play in the sand with very limited rules, enjoy volleyball. If you want to be competitive and be only on a hardwood court or only on a sport court, then do that. But let volleyball be something that nobody else gets to tell you how well you have to do it to enjoy it.
Man, so many jiu-jitsu guys could use that advice right now. Like, I thought about myself and the way I used to coach. I mean, as you were saying that, I had 1,000 different thoughts run through my brain about how much that applied to not just me, but the entire community. Like, I guess it's a weird beast because jiu-jitsu's a thing where it's like for some reason, it's the only sport where you expect the guy that's the head coach to be the baddest dude in the room. And, like, nobody expects Nick Saban to get out there and tackle anybody on game day, you know what I mean? But, and so everybody's striving, not everybody, but most people when they come in, they see that and they kind of put too much pressure on themselves. Like, I have to get good. I have to get really good. But you just don't.
And it's the idea of competency versus mastery. I'm a declining rock climber. Of course, I'm a little heavy to be a climber and a little short to be a climber. And, you can climb well or climb hard. And I've been trying to tell my climbing partner, You know, I'm in the days where I'm climbing well, not climbing hard. You know, we're not going to go do the diamond on Long's Peak, and I'm not going to do Half Dome, but we're going to do every 5-7, you know, in the southeast. And he read an article and shared it with me. Said the best climber is the guy who had the most fun today. Enjoyed your sport. And so if there's this pressure to produce, and again, it's the difference between outcome-based coaching and performance-based coaching.
Let's talk to us about that a little bit. That's something that I'm familiar with from some sessions with you, but let's break into that a little bit.
Okay. Outcome-based coaching is I was not successful unless I won the belt, got the trophy, won the championship, or topped out on the bracket. And performance-based coaching is I improved my cardio, I improved my strength, I improved efficiency of movement. I learned something about framing or distance or pressure. And if you're learning and growing in your sport, then you've been successful. Never confuse winning and losing with success and failure. They're two different constructs. Now, once you learn what real success is, winning will have an uptick. But it's the process rather than the product that you want to do.
That's so powerful, man. So that was something that I really learned from you. Back in my purple belt days, I was putting a lot of pressure on myself about competition, like too much, you know, and we sat down several times, and that was one of the real big things that I got from you is that I had to divorce my feelings about myself from the outcome of my activities. You know, whether that was jiu-jitsu, but, you know, of course, that manifested itself the most apparently in jiu-jitsu, but that was a theme throughout my life as well, you know.
If you beat me at basketball, which you can.
Definitely I can.
All that means is you can throw a round ball through a metal hoop better than I can. And that's all it means. It doesn't say anything about me as a man or a person. It doesn't say anything about you as a man or a person. You've devoted more time and energy to that particular skill set. And jiu-jitsu is the same way. It doesn't measure your worth as a person. It reflects your work ethic. There's a cool little quote. The things that you do today that you do not have to do will determine who you are later when it's too late to do anything about it. More succinctly put, I do today what you want so I can do tomorrow what you can't.
That's a very Dave Ramsey kind of quote for those of you that are familiar with him. He's a like financial consultant, I guess would be. I don't know what his actual title is. He does a podcast and writes books.
Probably a financial consultant would be his thing, yeah.
But yeah, he says you live like no one else today so you can live like no one else tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, so basically like, you know, save, pay off your debt. And then when everybody else is still running around, you won't even have a house payment at 40 years old, you know. So that's a good theory. It's a good way to live.
Yeah. And so learning competency at your level. You know, I'm into jiu-jitsu as hobby, or I'm into jiu-jitsu as for self-defense. I'm into jiu-jitsu for competition. I'm into jiu-jitsu just for cardiovascular fitness. And you do it at your level, and it's not about being the best. It's being your best.
And some days it's not even about being your best. For me anymore, I don't show up every night and give my best effort anymore. Not physically sometimes. Sometimes I just don't have it. I'm training 2 times a day, sometimes 7 days a week I'm doing that, you know. So I don't have my physical best in every training session, but I always have my engaged best, like my mentally engaged.
And I like the phrase you use, show up. You know, you just show up. And
sometimes that's all you can do, man.
And sometimes that's all it takes is just to show up. And even if you're not actively participating, you're learning the information. You sit down, you do guided imagery, or you do imagery drills in your mind while you watch somebody do a technique, especially if you're hurt or you're rehabbing or you just don't have the juice to do it tonight.
Yeah, and that's going to happen, and that's normal, and that's okay. You don't have to train like a world champion. You don't have to train like a world champion. And you don't have to even train like a world champion just to get good. Much less to enjoy the sport or to learn. So I think that's a really great subject. And I'm going to cut it right there.
Okay.
I'm going to keep bringing you back as often as you'll come.
Oh, man,
because
cool.
I think just that little nugget right there is going to help so many people. And now they can consume it on their drive to work instead of having to sit down for the 12-hour conversation that I would like to keep you here for.
Okay, all right.
All right, man. Awesome. If you guys enjoyed that, be sure to leave a comment, shoot me a message. I leave a comment. You can't really leave a comment on a podcast, I guess. I guess if you're listening on YouTube, you can. But shoot me a direct message on Instagram or Facebook, brandonmc.ninja. Don't forget to stop by my website, www.brandonmc.ninja. It's $5 a month for all of my classes and seminars and little videos that we just do one-off for social media or for private lessons or whatever. We drop it all in there. $5 a month. You can't beat that. And I'm going to put Lonnie's contact information and everything in the show notes. So if you're listening on iTunes, check that link. Thank you guys very much. I love all of you.